Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show Review with Mike G, the show of life, the show of Jalisco, tradition, mayors, politics, and so much more with today's guest, Mr. Eduardo Orendein of Tequila Arette, an amazing young gentleman that comes from a long laundry list of amazing folks in the Orendain family and a long-standing tradition of tequila in Tequila Town. This is a great chat about the history of tequila. It's a great chat about a young man kind of driven into the business by his own choice because he's so family oriented and he's around traveling a bit, and caught him here recently in Austin. So we sipped through 3 beautiful marks of Tequila Arette. That Fuerte 101 is something to just be astonished by. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this great chat with Eduardo Orendein of Tequila Arette.
Last 2 years now, starting to be more involved with sales.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting to travel sometimes a little bit more than I even want to. That's what my girlfriend says.
But you're young enough, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take its toll on you too much.
No, I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. You get to meet amazing, great people, great bars, places. No, it's a fun job. No, I can't complain.
The rock star lifestyle. That's a lot of the brand ambassadorship, or even someone that, and we'll talk about it, but you've distilled the tequila, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up at the distillery, so I've been around the fields. I mean, my punishment when I was a kid was going out to the fields. Now, every time I would get home late or, drunk at 16, 17, my father would take me the next day, 6 a.m. to the fields. That was my punishment.
That's not so bad. I think a lot of people, they'd be like, man, what a lucky punishment, right? Well, not at the time, right?
When you're still drunk or still hangover and going up to the fields at 100 degrees outside and working with the koa and the sharp tools is not the most desired hangover.
Is it nice then to kind of step away from the distillery for a little while? You mentioned it's been about 2 years that you're out on the road traveling. And how do you like this side of it, the non-production side of it?
No, I mean, I really enjoy it. It's fun. It's, as I said, it's just being always in new places, meeting people. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you always will. You're not at home, so you're not seeing your friends, or you're not doing. You don't have a routine.
That's right,
where like you wake up, you go to office, or you go to work. Well, my work is go to the airport, go to the plane, and go to the hotel, in the next city. But it's it's obviously it's part of the job. No, so you got to go out there and you got to visit the people and spread the word.
Connect with the public. I mean, this ties back into one of the mechanisms of politics of being mayoral, right? And it's something that kind of drives really deeply in your family. Well, so then talking about it, so this is a great thing, right? So you're working through. I've tasted many of these the Aretes, the marks before. Brilliant stuff. So we're going to start. We're sipping the 101, so the still proof tequila, which is a bold move. Most people, as we know, drink their tequila at 80 proof. It's slightly watered down, 60%, kind of. So this one, compared to some other overproof tequilas that we know. So for instance, Tapatía 110, right? So it's slightly higher. Describe kind of the thought process of putting out a higher proof, more intensely flavored tequila.
Yeah, so the reason we launched Arette Fuerte, the 101, it's called 101 for the proof, and it's the reason that's the proof we distill at. So we distill at 50.5%.
Yeah,
that's what we distill at El Llano, it's our distillery of Arette, and we didn't actually sell the Arette Fuerte until like a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, 2 years. I mean, I don't think it has more than 2 years now or less in the market. So and we started doing the industry trips. I don't know if you heard of the industry trip. We do it with Sergio from Don Fulano and Guillermo from Fortaleza, those guys. So we all got together, and doing the trips. we've had a lot of industry people come down to the distillery, bartenders, bar managers, and and every time I was giving the tour in the distillery, I would be giving them the tour, and when we got to the stills, I would always have a bottle there from the still strength that we had just distilled that day or the day previously, and I would always pour them a shot each, like, hey, so guys, taste our still strength from Arette here, have a little sip, it's something you can only have here at the distillery, and everybody was loving it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, like, you guys don't bottle this? I'm like, no, we don't, no, all our tequilas that we actually sell and bottle go out at 80 proof,
right?
And it's like, no, this is not available in the market. And it was like, oh, can I get a bottle? I want to buy a bottle of this one. I was like, well, yeah, sure. So I would just like, put it in a bottle, empty bottle, no labels, and just with a Sharpie, like write Arette, a still strength, 100.
Signed by Eduardo.
Yeah, and for like a year or two, that's how we were, just doing it, just out of the distillery, no label, no, obviously, no paying taxes. Hopefully the Mexican government doesn't hear this.
Oh, they listen, but because they enjoy it, not because they're looking to crack down. But it's kind of like this cult classic, right? Like this thing that people feel special. Well, one, it's delicious. And two, there are many different ways to bring. So this is a great thing. So Fortaleza is coming out with the still strength, and they'll blend the puntas and the colas back in, whereas instead of taking the hearts and then watering those down. So for you as the guy who's kind of crafting this, what method do you like to do to bring this down to 101?
Yeah, so it's the same. No, it's just we don't water it down. It's just the amount of the amount of heads we're cutting off.
Yeah,
and this is how it's coming out. No, so at the end of the day, this is how the truly of Arette, Arette comes out when out of the stills. No, so you're basically drinking Arette at its purest, no, without being watered down or anything. No, just how it comes out.
Yeah,
and after so many people coming down to the distillery, enjoying it and wanting it, I went to my father and said, hey, Dad, we should really, make it official, make it real, put a label on it and actually sell it. I think this could actually work, and so he finally listened after like 2 years. So I would, tell him, and we did it. And I think it's going great. It's now, I think right now only 15 or 16 states are carrying it right now at the moment. But and everybody who's having it are loving it. So it's I think it's fantastic.
It's pushing the segment forward a lot. Kind of because the simple math of it, right? 40% alcohol, 60% water in normal tequilas. Mm-hmm. So there's so much water in there that in a way you're disconnected from the plant. Whereas here, when you're bringing it closer to the distillate and bringing in all those areas of the run, do you think that the future of tequila will see more overproof?
Yeah, I think definitely, and we're seeing it not just in tequila, we're seeing it, you're also seeing it in whiskey. I mean, how many whiskeys are overproof now? And in mezcals, obviously, now mezcals, everything, even more mezcals are over 80 proof than there are actually mezcals at 80 proof,
Yeah.
And I think the reason to this is people are now becoming more purist, People want to drink stuff how they are, how they're made, That's why now there's, back in the days, 10, 15 years ago, mostly people were drinking, reposado or gold tequila. So they wanted to that age, in tequila. But nowadays, the blancos are becoming more popular every day, because they want to drink it just as it is, And then once you go to a distillery and you see that it comes out at 100 proof or above, and then you're hearing like, and then why is it in the shelves at 80 proof? Like, I just want to drink it how it is, how it's coming out.
Yeah.
So I think it's within that trend of crafting or and like or organic or like handmade or like artisanal, that kind of trend with that what's going on. People just want it as things are,
Yeah, it's without the makeup, right? Exactly, without the production. Of course, it's beautiful, but it's organic and it's very, very rooted in nature, and it has that kind of flavor. And that's one of the things I think that we'll see as people become more intelligent drinkers, perhaps, that they don't want it watered down. They don't want the coloring. To your point, they want to be connected with that plant and that land.
Yeah, and then it's all, and also they want to drink what the original tequila was like. Like back 100 years ago, people were not watering down tequila. Back 100 years ago, they were just drinking it as it was coming out. Like right now, like this Fuerte 100 proof. That's how tequila originally was drinking at. They started watering it down when they started exporting it or bottling it, and more regulations, and making it more
money, right?
Yeah, exactly, more industrialized. But officially, back in the days, people were drinking it at 100 or even more proof,
Yeah.
And that's how it is right now with mezcal. You go down to Oaxaca, to the palenques, and you're drinking, over 90 or 100 proof mezcals in every palenque you go. You're not going to find an 80%, like 80 proof mezcal.
Yeah, it's just shallow. It's without the depth, because the more water you add, again, you can say it's integral to any spirit, but it just takes you further away from that plant. I really feel that way. So it's funny when you mentioned, you saw the tours coming in, and you're saying, the bartenders, they drive this industry very heavily. They're particularly interested in this still strength tequila. Dad, I've got this good idea. And he finally listened to you. As the relationship and as you've worked more in the distillery, is he more open to ideas that you might have creatively about what might be the future of innovation in tequila?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we have a really good relationship. But I have a good relationship with my father, and I think he listens. And so it's but a lot of times, you have to take in mind, that you gotta focus. A lot of times you gotta focus on one thing and take your shots at it. Instead of thinking of 10 different ideas and shooting at all different ideas at once.
Yeah.
I think it's better to just focus on one or two ideas and just try to put your attention in those. So it's.
Are you a more operational guy or a more creative guy? It's basically numbers guy or brainy, cerebral guy.
Well, I'm definitely not the numbers guy.
That answers it perfectly. Well, it's good. So, okay, maestros, right? So composers, people that bring these flavors, these musical notes together. When you're kind of bringing these flavors together, and of course you want it to be the same every time for consistency's sake, but what kinds of things do you feel like you really want it to shine with? What kinds of flavors do you really like that you want it to reflect?
What we really want to really stand out in Arete, is that the agave notes. Once you visited Tequila Town and you visited Tequila Distillery, the moment you're in town, there's the smell. You immediately start smelling that cooked baked agave, from either it's the ovens and it's so sweet, and that's what we want to reflect on the product. And you taste it and that green notes without that minerality from the town or from the valley right next to the volcano. I think that minerality is what we always want to always maintain, and it's what gives the essence to each brand.
Yeah, like the personality in a way, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it's all about the soil. No, it's what people refer to as like in wine with the terroir. No, like where so you can move your production, but obviously your taste and your profile is going to change. No, even if you make it exactly the same way.
Is it considered a highland or a lowland?
We're in Tequila Town, so that's what people would refer to the lowland.
Yeah.
But it's technically not a lowland. I mean, we're 1,500 meters above sea level.
Oh, geez, okay.
So, I mean, we're pretty high up, but it's just that the highlands, which is Arandas and Atotonilco, are higher than Tequila Town. So when they refer to Arandas and Atotonilco, the highlands, when the obvious would be the tequila is lower, so it's lower lands.
Yeah.
But they're really pretty, they're both pretty.
Both high, just one's lower than the other one. You're taller than me, I'm the short one. I'm the lowland.
Exactly. That's definitely how it is. Yeah.
Though. Well, so this steals, again, man, I really like this. This is really, I can wrap my mind around it too. It makes you think, and it's just quite delicious. So kind of going back, your family is very entrenched in, the politics of which city property? Jalisco whole, if you were to describe it, but what is it, a particular city?
So we're in Tequila, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the name of the city, Tequila Town, yeah.
And so your family's got some cachet. Your family has some brand recognition there, going back 5 generations?
Yeah, so I'm now the 5th generation, now. So right now, it's our distillery started back in 1900.
Yeah.
So we're the 3rd oldest tequila distillery in town, right after Cuervo and Sausa. We're the 3rd oldest in the town. And the 4th oldest, if you put us in together, because Herradura is older than us, but Herradura is in Amatitan, so it's a different town.
Yeah.
So if you walk into the lobby of the CRT, the Tequila Regulatory Council, they have their 4 statues of what they call the 4 founding families.
The pillars.
Yeah. and one of there's 4 families, what they call the four tequila founding families, and it's the Cuervo family, the Sausa family, the Herradura, and Orendain, my family. And out of those 4 families, we're the only ones left completely family-owned, independent.
No kidding. So growing up and having such a historical mark in the town itself, is it easy being you in this town? When we grow up, right? So we go through these awkward social stages. High school isn't particularly fun. But for you, having a family that's really, really entrenched in the community. Everybody knows your name, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was great growing up. I mean, everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows. You go up to the, at the store, in the corner, and they're friends with your father and your mother, and so I mean, everybody's like family, So it was pretty nice, and you growing up there, it's the people are really friendly, and it's a great town. You have really good memories of growing up there, and obviously getting in trouble with the
cutting the agave early in the morning as punishment.
Yeah, no, but it was a nice town, and it's great to know since it's a really, really small town. Everybody knows everyone, so it's a great to grow up. I would say
relatively safe town as well.
Yeah, I mean, relatively safe. I mean, obviously you got the cartels and the drug problems you have in Mexico, but in a way, I mean, the good thing is, I mean, obviously, the good thing within the bad thing. Obviously, the cartel is there and the dealers are there. We cannot deny it. But in a way, it is safe. I can say it is safe for us. We've never had a problem there. Me and my family or friends, or every visitor that comes down, there's never been a problem worse than a pickpocket.
Right.
But that can happen.
Which is the same in Austin,
Because the good thing, I mean, as I said, with the good thing within the bad thing of the drug dealers is that they don't really mess with the population, with the civilians. So as long as you're not selling drugs, or you're not in that business, you don't have anything to worry about. No, they're not going to go up and mess around. No, if you let them do their thing, they'll let you do your thing. And I mean, I've never seen them. You never know who they are. You just hear about them, but you know they're there, but they don't. It's not really a problem.
That's good. I mean, in the States, we don't necessarily have a really clear idea of what the conditions are like. Like Michoacan, talked to some mezcaleros from there, and that seems that at one point much more tense. But Jalisco and Tequila always seemed relatively.
Yeah, no, Michoacan was it's far more dangerous place than Jalisco, and 5 years, 6 years ago, a lot of bad things were happening, in Michoacan, and the drug cartels were really going into the population. They were starting to ask for rents. Like they would go into a business and say, hey, you have to pay me this amount of money each month, or we're gonna come in and and just shoot or or burn the place down or something. So they got really messed up in a lot of places in Mexico, unfortunately. But fortunately, in Jalisco, it was always pretty maintained, and we've never had a problem. No, we've never had people show up at the distillery and say, hey, you guys gotta pay us or something. Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate and have not had that problem. At least not in Tequila Town. Because I know on all this, I cannot say the same for the entire state.
Yeah, because before we were recording, I mentioned I talked to Carlos Camarena and Rondas, right? Yeah. So there was some shit that went down with him.
Yeah, I think in the Highlands they did have some. That's why I said no. I can't say the thing for the entire state, because I think in the Highlands they did have some issues for a while. I mean, I think right now things are back to normal and cool down, but I think for a few years back they did have some issues, unfortunately.
So, knowing that you come 5 generations deep in this pillar of tequila narrative in Mexico, in high school and thinking about college, were you ever able, or rather did your father say, hey, I know that we've got this thing, this successful tequila distillery. We have the history, but Eduardo Jr., I think, right? I want you to do what you think you need to do for you. Were you given that chance to follow your own path, or did you always know you'd end up in the family business?
No, I mean, my dad and my family, my grandfather, they were always pretty relaxed and pretty open about, you cannot always do whatever you want. No, so it was not like I had to be in the business. I had to be part of it. Yeah. It's just that, growing up as a culture, my dad always, when he always took me to work on the weekends or the summers during school. But because he said, you're not going to stay at home and just, do nothing, watch TV, you're going to come and work. If you don't want to work here, then you can go work somewhere else. But you have to get a job.
But you're going to work.
Yeah, but you're going to work. So
good dads do that, man. They do.
So it was not like you have to work in the family business. It's like you have to work. Yeah. Either here or somewhere else. And I started working with him, and I really enjoyed it. I remember having my memories starting back at the distillery. Swapping floors, cleaning bottles, carrying cases, to the trucks, and so I mean, and it was fun. I enjoyed it when I was a little kid, and then as I told you, punishments were going out to the fields,
which is what Stefano makes industry do now, yeah. Right? Like that's part of the program. Yeah, you guys come down. It's early in the morning. Maybe we were partying last night, but just go out to the agave field. I love it that in a way people have embraced the industry to go and expose themselves to lifting heavy things, to be out in the sun. It's almost ironic.
No, yeah, definitely. No, but we can ask Drew here. No, he's been down for it. Yeah, he can give us his thoughts about it. But yeah, it's a great thing. People come down and experience the whole thing. And actually live the town and the distilleries of how they are on a normal daily basis. So a lot of times when you go down for a tour, it's things might be different. Or they might be, it's you're not seeing the real thing as it every day.
Right.
You're in a big group, all having fun, drinking. But when you're actually there, on opening time at 7 a.m. and actually being there with the workers, at lunch breaks and all that stuff, it gives you a totally different perspective.
Yeah, there's work to be done always.
Yeah,
distilleries are tough. Yeah. They really are. Well, as we talk about the history of Arette and how it came to be, if you will, let's sip where it all comes from. Let's sip the Blanco, which is an 80 proof, which you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so now we started with the Fuerte, which was a still strength, but now we're gonna go to the Suave. So drinking the Suave right after the Fuerte, you're gonna make it stand out even more suave and even more smooth than it actually.
It's just like something really bright to something more mellow. And this is the product, though. You could say anybody can drink it. They will understand our perspective on what we'd like it to taste like, and it's accessible. Anybody can get it, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely here. I mean, here in Texas, it's Big Teresa or distributor here in Texas, and I think now you can get it through most of the wholesalers. I think Specs, Goody Goody, Twins. So I mean, a lot of them might not have it on the shelves, but bars and restaurants can ask for it, and will get it for them.
What is roughly the retail price so starting at the Fuerte, the 101 proof? What's that one roughly? I'm curious. If you don't know, we can figure it out, or I'll do some research. Yeah. Do you have any idea, Drew?
It's probably hitting somewhere around 25 to 27.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So very reasonably priced.
Yeah, the Fuerte, maybe 25, 26, somewhere like that. The Blanco Suave goes up to in the 40s, like 40 something.
Low 40s.
Yeah, low 40.
Okay. Yeah, is that a liter bottle or is that a 750?
750. These ones are 750.
Cool. It stands a little bit taller. The Arette brand, although your family has been making tequila for quite some time, this brand is relatively new. In 1987, is that correct?
Yeah, 1986, 1986 was when it came out. Arette, So before that, my family, when we started making tequila, it was with Orendain tequila. That's our last name. That's a family name, and that's the one my family started with at the distillery that we actually now make Arette. But at the time, that distillery was too small for Orendain, so my grandfather had to build a bigger distillery, just 2 blocks down the road. So they moved the production of Orendain to the big distillery, and then in the 80s, my father and his brother, my uncle Jaime, they decided to go back and start running again the small distillery, the Orendain original distillery, and start making their small batch 100% agave tequila.
Were you guys using it for anything else, or it was kind of just closed down?
Yeah, it was closed down, abandoned for some years, and then started, they had to renovate it and start getting back to it at the beginning, and they started producing for Orendain for a little bit while they were setting up, and then in the 86, 97, Arette came out to market.
Amazing.
And they decided to name the brand Arette for the horse.
The only gold medal winning horse from Mexico.
Yeah, so it was the first gold medal. The first gold medal that Mexico ever won in the Olympics. It was London 1948. The name of the horse was named Arette. And since my father and his brother, my uncle, they were really passionate about horses, and they used to compete when they were younger, they wanted to name their tequila after the Mexican champion horse.
Did you ever compete? Yeah. Were you ever into horsing? Not racing, but what do they call that? What is it when you...
Equestrian.
Equestrian.
When they're jumping. I did for a little while when I was younger, but not really like professionally or anything.
Yeah. And this is now, we're here almost, probably right around 30 years later.
Yeah.
Is there any celebrating to do, any kinds of parties that you guys are going to throw to? I mean, it's a monumental date. 30 years is a great accomplishment.
Yeah, no, definitely no, and we always do, celebration every year. We gather up and do events. We do it when it's like the industry trips that we organize down in Tequila together with Fortaleza and Don Fulano. We make that great party, at Fortaleza in the caves, and so it's every year we just gather up and celebrate every year. No, but we're not doing anything like in particularly special for the 30.
It's always a celebration, it seems like, anyway.
Yeah, with tequila, it seems like every week, every day, it's a celebration.
Always a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely.
In the amount of time, so how long have you been involved principally as either a distiller, and the past 2 years you've been out in the market, more of a sales capacity, but how long total in your adulthood have you played a big role in the distillery?
Well, I started when I was, I think I've been now like at least 14, 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
because you're still in your 20s?
I'm 27.
God, man, that's crazy. It's a crazy thought to think that you're probably, I don't know what percentage, but at least 25% of your blood is literally tequila. It runs through your blood and it runs through your blood. But in these past 15 years, roughly, have you seen the segment of tequila, the conversations about tequila, have you seen those change quite a bit?
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. I mean, I remember at the beginning when I was younger, the tequila was thought to be like a cheap thing you would drink. Like people who drink it was just to get really drunk, and it was not nicely seen. It was like not something you would sip. Definitely, it was like people, you don't want to sip tequila. No, you gotta shut it down. And then that you start seeing that evolve. At the late 90s, and started at 2000, also 17 years ago, is when people really started, with and we gotta give it to a lot of it was Patron really helped that. A lot of people that might right now will talk really like, oh no, Patron, no, don't drink that and stuff like that. But it's the reality is that Patron was one of the door openers of the 100% agave category.
Yeah.
Before Patron came out to the market and became what it is. Everybody was drinking mixtos, in the U.S. I mean, nobody was drinking 100% agave tequila before Patron. So it was really them who really kind of opened that door in for all the category of 100% agave. I mean, obviously, it has changed a lot, and it's not the same thing that it was back in the 90s, no?
Yeah.
But when they did, they really helped out the category and swift make that switch from the mixtos, shoot it and lime and salt to the sip it, enjoy it, and yeah, exactly.
Do you heard many interesting stories, and there are two ways it seems like tequila businesses or tequila distilleries run in this industry. They do the 100% agave, where you want to savor it, you want to sip it, and really experience the terroir and the plants, right? And then there's also the other element of it where it's pump out the product as quick as possible. You guys siding, of course, with sipping and savoring. Do you think that rather long-term, having this kind of paradigm about the tequila, do you want to keep making more and keep expanding to a point where perhaps you have to move into a new distillery?
I mean, obviously, it's something you always want to maintain is your quality. As long as we can maintain our quality and or essence or profile and or taste.
Yeah.
It's we can always expand, but as long as we don't change our culture, and our way of making it, and definitely the taste, the profile and the quality, we would never sacrifice the quality to go for quantity, So it's.
Does the family always intend to keep it a piece of the family? Because as you mentioned, many of the other pillars of this narrative in tequila history have sold off years ago.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. This is in the family, and we will definitely never sell.
Never, right?
It's not, and we've been approached. We've been approached by so many different companies. I mean, even the big guys. A lot of the big guys have come knocking on the doors, and I mean, we always sit down with them and listen to them just to see what they have to say. But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, no, thank you. We're not for sale. No? And if actually it's happened before, we worked with Brown-Forman for many years. I mean, I grew up, I lived 2 years in Louisville, Kentucky.
No kidding.
Yeah. What
were you doing in Louisville?
Well, Brown-Forman is its headquarters there.
Yeah. So were you doing production work or?
No. So Brown-Forman was importing and distributing the family tequila. So at the time, my father was like kind of the representative for the company there with Brown-Forman.
Oh wow!
So we went up to there. If it was 1999 and 2000, we lived there for 2 years. And they were importing and distributing all the tequila, and it got to a point where they wanted to buy the company. They went to my grandfather and said, "Hey, we want to buy the brand. We want to buy the distillery." And my grandfather said, "No, we're not for sale." And they were really insistent and said, "Well, if you guys are not willing to sell, then we gotta part ways because we can't keep working together." So,
because you wouldn't sell.
Yeah,
that's so strange.
Well, they wanted to own their tequila company.
I see.
So then when my grandfather said, "No, we're not selling. When this is not the company that was given to me by my my father and my father had it from his grandfather. So like, why should I sell something that was given to me? It's something not something I created. It was given to me, so I cannot sell it. It's like, would you ever sell a gift you got from your father?
Absolutely.
Like,
it's not yours to give, although it is yours to give, but it's such a tradition. It spans so many decades now.
Yeah.
And that, to paraphrase Carlos Camarena, who's obviously coming up with this conversation again, did you see a for sale sign on my house? I'm not for sale. And that's funny because it's the same concept, right? He didn't want to sell. People were asking him for years and still do, but it's just one of those things that the family is very important. Yeah,
and we worked with Brown-Forman for many, many years until that point where they wanted to really buy the company and said, well, if you guys are not willing to sell, then we're going to part ways. And they bought, they went and bought Herradura.
Oh,
now Brown-Forman owns Herradura and El Jimador.
I didn't know that.
But before they had Herradura and El Jimador, they were working with us for many years until the point where we said, no, we're not for sale.
Man, but that speaks very highly of you and your family to say, no, we have our standards, we have our beliefs, and we will stick to those.
Yeah, no, and even today, my grandfather, he's still alive. My grandfather's 82 years now, and my father, and he always tell me, if you ever sell, we're gonna come out for the
we're gonna hunt your ass.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna sell it, then we're not gonna give it to you because this is not. You can't sell something. It's not yours. It was given to you, and you have to give it on to your children and so on. No, it's not something you're gonna be able to just go sell and then go sit in the beach and relax.
Does it give you a little bit of pressure then to have a?
No, not really. I it's kind of in me now, so I have the same thoughts that they have. So I would never sell, even if they weren't here today, and I would definitely never sell. Yeah.
One of the things, and before we move on to the final chapter, which would be innovation, the current state of agave, and using Woodford barrels to tie that all back, right, with the extra añejo, but when you think about the process here, I've read a bit about the process. Obviously, people know how tequila is made, but you guys have made a choice, and I do not critique it because I think for me, autoclaves give you the purest. As long as you're not adding, certain kinds of enzymes and things, it gives you the purest representation of the plant. But for you, was there any decision to say, well, we want to use steam cooking ultimately and pressure cooking versus pit cooking?
Well, if you go to when you mentioned steam, even brick ovens are cooked with steam.
Yeah.
So the only difference between a brick oven or an autoclave oven is really the surrounding of the oven. So it's stainless steel versus bricks, but they're both filled with steam to cook it. And the only reason we have the autoclave is because of the space. I don't know if you've been to a distillery, to El Llano, but it's a very, very small space, very small distillery. Right next door, we have Sausa Distillery. On the back, we have Cuervo Distillery. And on the other side, we have another tequila distillery. So basically, we're surrounded by tequila distilleries with no space to grow.
Yeah.
And definitely, they would never sell us any piece of their land to expand our distillery.
Sure.
So we're into a point where we either have to move our distillery or we just have to adapt to the small space that we have. And using autoclaves, it's really a tool. No, I always tell people that it's really like a tool, like you would have in your kitchen or in your bar, and it's going to be about how you use that tool. No? So you cannot generalize an oven or a mill or a pot still, based on a generalization just by what it is. It's really a tool, and it's really going to be about how you use it, because you can make really great things with it or really bad things with it. No, so it's really about how you use it.
It's about the person really using it, right? If you know how to use it, you have the right experience and the right passion for it, you can make great stuff.
Yeah, and it's like in a kitchen. You can go to the best restaurant in the world, with the most Michelin stars in the world, and if you go in there and you don't know how to make a dinner plate, it's worthless. All that machine, all that tools, all that ovens they have. But if you put even the best chef in this tiny house kitchen, this is going to make a great meal and a great dinner. Just
Absolutely.
the tools they have.
A musician, for instance, will always find a way to make music with what's around them because it's in their heart, right?
Yeah.
Not to be sappy, but that's truly what it is.
Yeah.
You're not doing this for the money. You're doing this to sustain a legacy in a way and make a beautiful thing. So you're going to make do. You're going to make do of that space. Well, so now we get to talk kind of about the future innovation with tequila. We see extra añejo becoming a larger category. And let's sip that next. I'm really excited. This was not at the roadshow tasting, I don't think. So the fact that it circles back and these are Woodford Reserve barrels, it's an interesting thing to know that they would still give you the barrels. There's any bad blood there, right? Because they're like, no, you can't play with my toy.
No, well, we actually have most of our barrels are all from Brown-Forman. So we got Jack Daniel's barrels, we got the Woodford barrels. So it's just that I mean, even though we part ways and we separated, you can say the relationship is kind of still like it was kind of separated well, you know. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
you're still seeing each other.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like we didn't talk to each other, like, and everything was wrong. I mean, they did sue us for a while, and then we were in court for for 4 years because of a brand called Don Eduardo.
Yeah,
and that they ultimately kept at the end of the day. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's, you know, we're still talking. I mean, we got the barrels, and
there's some text going back and forth. It's still there's still some communication.
Yeah.
This is a very, very optimistic thing.
Yeah, and they have a company called Bluegrass, so anyone can get the barrels from them. So it's not like it was like personally, you know, but give me your barrels. So anyone can go and get Brown-Forman barrels. I mean, they have so much because, you know, for brown bourbon they can only use it once, so they have so many barrels going out every year.
So what's the proof on this guy?
That's 80 proof as well.
80 proof as well.
Salud. We do have the still strength, but only at the distillery.
What?
Like, well, that would be in a cask strength.
So you have a cask strength, and these are Woodford. So great. I love the oak treatment with Woodford, man.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly rich and sweet and kind of supple, having just tasted through a bunch of it. So what did you have a choice though of what barrels you could use? I'm sure you had your pick of the litter, right?
Well, I mean, the barrels we've had them. That's more of what my uncle, you know, and Jaime and my father will do, and then they're the ones who ultimately make those decisions. And they've been working with Brown-Forman barrels for many years, and they kind of seem to like that's their style, and I think that's they want to keep it. I think they're afraid to just even switch it, you know, and change the additive profile. So it's like, just keep what we've been using.
Keep it the way it was.
Yeah.
How do you feel about heavily aged tequilas, knowing that it takes us very far away from the still strength, for instance, which is completely connected to the ground?
I mean, I definitely enjoy añejos and extra añejos, but my go-to is definitely blancos. So, I mean, if that's what I would drink, you know, if by myself at home, you know, after a long day or in a party, you know, if I go to a bar, you know, with friends, you know, just relax, I always go for blancos. I'm a purist, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy reposados, añejos, or even extra añejos, no?
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, I mean, my father, his favorite is this one we're drinking right now, the Gran Clase.
Is he?
This is the one you'll find him drinking when you go home. It's this is the one he drinks. But that doesn't mean so. That's the beauty of the spirit, no? That anyone can have their own choice, no? Like, I might be a blanco, but he's a Gran Clase, and an extrañejo, and you might be a reposado, and it's totally fine, no? It's
something for everybody.
Exactly.
It's nice. I like it. It's funny because I don't know why this is happening on the palate, right? But it's actually bringing up more crispness of the agave, almost like a lactic quality, which is interesting from the barrel there, because you would think it would do something darker, something more chocolatey, for instance, right?
Yeah. No, and that's part of what we try to do. No, we always want that agave to stand out. No, even though it's been aged in the barrel for 4 years, no, and you get that just vanilla caramel notes to it, you obviously want that agave to stand out and still be there. No, you don't want it to turn into a whiskey, no, or a bourbon. No, you want it to still be a tequila.
When you think about other kinds of casks, perhaps sherry casks, Madeira casks, rum casks, do you have any interest in blending and working with more extended selection of those? Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, we actually have right now with the distillery, we have some French oak. No, I mean, right now all the distilleries, I mean, all the tequila that Arete uses, all the barrels are American oak, bourbon used barrels.
Yeah.
But we do have a couple French new barrels that we got just to play around. We're just doing some tests. Nothing has been released yet, and we're just playing around, testing, and see what things come out. So we're definitely open to doing different. How would you say it? Like different
expression,
different expressions. Yeah, different expressions. Playing around with barrels is always fun, and seeing how each barrel or each wood plays differently is definitely we really enjoy it. But right now at the moment we haven't released anything. It's always just something.
You got a lot to do already, right?
Yeah, it's something we just have the distillery for people who visit. They can try something that's not available in the market. Something they can just try there, and that we're playing around with. And maybe one day if we really enjoy it and we see people really want it, one day we might release it. Like we did with the Fuerte.
Just with the
with the Fuerte. But at the moment it's just something we have at the distillery.
Well, I'm excited because I think so many possibilities. And you're young. I mean, you're so young. I'm not that old, but you're younger than me, and I'm like, damn, I'm envious of all the creative leeway you'll have, in the next 20, 30 years. It's going to be exciting to see what you guys do. As the popularity of tequila grows, as it does every year, mezcal helps that. Sotol helps that category because it's like stuff that's different states, geographically similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Do you see a big risk to the quality of agave as the demand, of course, inevitably increases?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, right now we are facing a huge agave shortage problem with tequila in Netherlands. I mean, right now I can only talk for tequila, but I know mezcal is going through the same, and and Sotol and Raicillas are all having problems with agave shortage problems. But so talking more into the tequila one, there's this thing with the agave. It takes 8 years before you can actually it's at its ripest point, and when you want to harvest it. So with the crop being taken so long for it before you can harvest it, there's a lot of time where there's more agave than the industry needs for. So the prices go really, really low. They go to cents, where the farmers are not really making any money. So why wouldn't they want to keep planting agave? So they switch their crops to corn or something else.
Really? Okay.
So, but then a few years later, and again, there's no agave. There's an agave shortage, so agave prices go through the roof, and then the prices are so high, so expensive that all the farmers, everybody want to plant agave.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this circle that kind of keeps looping around between so much agave that gets so cheap and then really low. Not everyone wants, nobody wants to plant it, and then so expensive that everybody wants to plant it.
It's so strange because it's like push and pull. It really is. So people don't want to plant it, so then they don't because in Mexico, do they subsidize any of the production of agave?
No, the government, no.
Yeah, because here, obviously, you grow corn, you grow it at a loss, we'll still pay you money to grow it. Yeah. So in a way, we have it all the time, and then we put it into food, and then we put it into fuel. Do you think, for you, though, that it's a realistic threat that you won't be able to make great tequila in, let's say, 10 years?
No, so the thing is, right now, the good thing is that we own our own agaves, so we have our own fields. Okay. Yes, so it's so that's a good thing for our side. We're kind of protected in a way. But obviously, if the demand keeps growing, then we need to either buy more land or start planting more because we won't have enough.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we just have to plan. It's all planning about communicating with the farmers, with the industry, with all the producers, and plan accordingly where you get to a price where it's fair for everybody. Fair for the farmers to plant it, and fair for the tequila producers to actually make it into tequila.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it's not fair for the farmers when it gets to cents for the kilos. Or not fair for the tequila producers when it gets, like right now, 17 pesos the kilo. So that's crazy.
Yeah. Do the big guys, without naming names, help this situation or do they hurt it?
Well, right now the big guys are kind of like in a quiet mode, right? They're not really saying anything. They're just because they build up a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh no, this is just gonna pass. This is a phase. We've seen this before, and it has happened before. This is not the first time it's happened. So they're just kind of like waiting just for it to be over.
I see. So they got some money in the bank, plenty of money, ultimately, and they can just watch this thing ride out.
Yeah, and they have a lot of tequila inventory. So they have a lot of tanks filled, just millions and millions of liters just sitting there. So they're not really worried about it because they know this is just like a term passing by.
Yeah. Well, so you're in Austin. I know you guys have probably some great things to do this evening as Drew escorts you around Austin. Great agave bars. There's a great scene here for cocktails and things. But tonight, there's an educational portion, but you guys hung out at Fonda San Miguel. We're kind of hanging out and sipping. How's your stay in Austin been so
Good.
far?
I mean, I just got today. This morning, I met.
Running you ragged.
I landed today, and we went straight for lunch. We had some lunch with a couple of friends and bartenders and friends from the industry, and then we headed straight for the Fonda San Miguel seminar. We had a seminar there, happy hour, and now we're here with you. Now, thank you for the invite for having us.
Of course, man. I mean, I feel really privileged that we could squeeze this into your schedule. How was it? Was it a nice exchange at Fonda San Miguel? Good questions, people being very inquisitive.
Yeah, no, it was. No, I think it was really great, and when we had the presentation projected, and people asked questions, and so I think it went really quite well. And then tomorrow we're headed for San Antonio, and then Wednesday Houston, and then Thursday back to Mexico.
Man, your girlfriend's gonna be really mad at you. So all right, so I've got one final question for you. Amazing products, man. I mean, this has been brilliant to sit here with you. Representation of your family, 5 generations, distiller, the face of Arette now, in a sense, right? Which is good for you at 27. Again, another reason though your girlfriend might be like, you got to come back, Eduardo. You're a bit on the road too. But my question for you is, let's just take this still strength, because I really, really gravitate towards this. And you can sip some of this still strength tequila anywhere in the world, anywhere you choose, and you can sit there and have a conversation with anybody, living or deceased. Who might you like to take that opportunity out to sip some tequila and have a conversation with?
Wow, that's a good question. It's tough, no? So I'm just thinking of so many people I would like, just people from that, family members with my great grandfather who started the company, and just to start, what was he thinking? Because what was he thinking back in 1900 to start making tequila?
Yeah.
But I would start, just thinking about, so many people right now, or even right now, people who are still alive today, like Elon Musk, what he thinks about tequila and his plans about Mars, and see what's the spirit culture going to be up there,
It's that's a brilliant one, man. Yeah. I think it would be so many answers, and it changes depending on how we feel, right? Sad, up, down. It's hot outside, so.
No, for sure, no. Or even Jeff Bezos, to see if we can get tequila in the Amazon.
That's a great fucking idea. We'll work on it, but that's going to take a state-to-state thing. But, well, worth the time. Man, Eduardo, Andrew, thank you for sitting in here with me. Thank you for sharing these wonderful expressions of your effort and of your family. Transports me to Tequila Town, and it also takes me, I don't know, I feel like I can feel a little more connected to the family now. In some way, this is a representation of your love.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite, and for the time for having us here, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully you come down and visit us soon. And I want to know it's open. Our distillery's open doors for everyone. Anyone can come down and visit us whenever they want. We're in Tequila Town, and we will be happy to have you guys there and give you a tour and show you how we do our thing. It's
a great thing, man.
It's an open book. There's no secrets.
I'm sure we'll see you soon, and I'll make Drew take me down there if not anything else.
No, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
All right, bye-bye. Adios.
So there we have it. What do you guys think of Eduardo Orendein of Tequila Arette? Seems like a great guy, has some amazing pedigree, and it's great to see him around traveling, sharing these brilliant sips of tequila. Again, that 101 Fuerte Tequila Arette. I mean, it's insanely delicious, and it's insane value. So if you can get your hands on a bottle, you should. I hear price is going to jump perhaps here in the next few weeks, so it's something worth pursuing. It was a very entertaining chat. It was a very educational one, as well as the roots of tequila and the emergence of tequila as a market, as a viable product. These families involved. I mean, I learned so much from Eduardo. So thank you so much for stopping by, Eduardo, and sharing fine sips of the tequila that you distilled yourself. That is a massive pleasure, luxury, and privilege for me. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter if you're thinking, man, Fright Night 2 might actually be better than Fright Night 1, or if you're thinking, I'm not sure what I'm going to dress up as for Halloween this year, please keep dancing.